Give me a minute and let's talk about the first case of its kind. Today, Attorney General Merrick Garland, today being Wednesday, the 6th of December, day 651 of Vladimir Putin's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine, Merrick Garland announced that the U.S. would be filing criminal charges, war crime charges, against Russians accused of torturing an American in the Ukraine invasion. Now, look, I'm not going to detail what was done to this guy, but he's an American who married a Ukrainian. They're living in my Love. The Russians pour 250,000 troops over the border, hook up with the DPR, LPR forces. They drag this guy and his wife out of the house, and for the next 10 days, he's in a living hell that none of us even want to contemplate at the hands of the Russians. And he's not the only one. Make no mistake, lots of Americans have suffered under the occupation, and their stories will come to light. Not to mention those brave boys who joined the Foreign Legion here and have given all for the cause of freedom in the world. Now, look, I don't know where you stand on supporting Ukraine, but if you don't understand how this war has directly affected Americans, like this guy living here in Ukraine, you got to understand it and understand that's one of the reasons we need to be in this fight. And the good news is we don't even have to have boots on the ground. Right? No American military is here. The Russians aren't fighting the Americans. They're not shooting at us. For 5% of one year's military budget, we have helped the Ukrainians eviscerate the Russian army. They've knocked out half of the Russian stockpiles of equipment. For 5% of one year's budget, we've demilitarized half of the Russian stockpiles. That's a pretty good ROI, boy. That's a pretty good ROI. I want to end with this thought here. What Garland said on the subject of the torture of Americans at the hands of the Russians. That I think any Russian in Ukraine should take heed of and remember these words. The Justice Department and the American people have a long memory. Attorney General Merrick Garland said in announcing the case, "We will not forget the atrocities in Ukraine, and we will never stop working to bring those responsible to justice." Never, 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 never